Can someone please explain to me what the hell is going on down in the NovaCare complex? The world may absolutely never know. But guys, I'm in Parceo Philly, the uniter of all things sports and culture here in the beautiful city of Philadelphia. And today, guys, we are going to talk about some breaking news down in South Philly with our Philadelphia Eagles. But sit back and hang tight, guys, because you don't want to miss this episode. And let's get this started, shall we? Yeah! Alright guys, before we move any forward here, first off, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning into my channel here. It really means a lot to me. But guys, we're just trying to grow and become one of the faces here in the Philadelphia sports landscape. And I could honestly use your guys' help. Help me out by liking this video, subscribing to this channel, hitting that bell button for notifications, as well as sharing this video and this channel to help me grow. But that is right, guys. So obviously, the breaking news out of the Philadelphia Eagles camp right now is that the Eagles have fired offensive coordinator Mike Groh and wide receivers coach Carson Walch. Now, this storyline all starts Monday, the day after the Eagles season ends. The season-ending presser, Howie Roseman and Doug Peterson talked to the media. And obviously, some things were said. These Eagles closed things out, and Howie during that press conference made it known that this past season was not what the Eagles' expectations were. It was a disappointing season. The Eagles went in this year thinking that they had Super Bowl aspirations. They built a roster that was quite honestly pretty strong and was built to make a run into the playoffs and for a Super Bowl run. Unfortunately, this year we just ran into a crap load of injuries. Howie thought that he built a roster enough that was ready to win, but still had depth just in case injuries happened. And unfortunately, this year they did catch magic at the end of the year, like the past two seasons, but the injuries were just too much to overcome, and that was one of the reasons why right now we are going to watch the NFL playoffs from home. Now, one thing that really stuck in my mind that Howie iterated was that the last three seasons, the Eagles built rosters that were ready to win now. And he mentioned that this team needs a youth jolt in it right now. And that is quite honestly true. A lot of the injuries that we had happen in the past couple of years are guys that were a little older, and were honestly maybe here a year too long. I had a little Ruben Amaro syndrome there for all you Phillies fans. Sorry for that reference there, but yeah. So the other note on that press conference was everyone's talking about is how Doug Peterson was asked a question about the coaching staff and specifically the offensive coaching staff, and he said that both the offensive coordinator Mike Groh and the wide receiver coach Carson Walch, their jobs were safe. It seemed like he was behind those guys. And of course, we moved to today, where the breaking news was that both those coaches were fired. Now, did this firing come to a surprise to Eagles fans? Yes, simply because what Doug said at the closing presser. Saying that these guys were going to come back. So it was kind of like a curveball to Eagles fans when we got the alert today that both of them were fired. Now, don't get us wrong, and don't get me wrong as well, that I wanted this move to happen. The offense, I felt as if, despite the injuries, I felt it still underperformed. And there was different times throughout the season. There was that stretch, specifically during the losing streak, that the Eagles went away from the running game. Now, if you're losing receivers and you're down to specifically you're going two tight end sets with wide receivers who you really don't feel comfortable with, and Carson doesn't feel comfortable with, why wouldn't you give Carson a running game so you can create some more play action? And that I think that was the difference of the reason why we went on that losing streak in the middle of that season. Another thing too, talking about the running game, is at the end of the year, you had a healthy Jordan Howard. Why weren't you using him in short yard situations? You saw throughout the season, and he was healthy. You brought him on, and he was untouched in that Giants game, and he was untouched in that Seahawks game. And on short yard situations, you've seen in this season that Jordan Howard was pretty much automatic there. So that was another key aspect there. The receiving core, obviously, that was one of the biggest disappointments this year, which is hence why we are firing yet again another receivers coach in Carson Walch. The Eagles' offense this year finished 14th in total offense, 11th in the passing game, 11th in the rushing game. Now, that's not good. You did make the playoffs and you did enough to make the playoffs, but out of the 12 teams in the playoffs this year, you did not even finish in the top 12. That's really realistically where you should finish. So definitely the offense has taken a serious step back. Carson at times this year looked like he was taking a decline in his progression as a young quarterback in this league. He definitely turned it back on. I think that has a lot more to do with his work ethic and him just as he's a good quarterback. He is a good quarterback, but now you need to find the guys who the guy who's going to be able to help Carson take that next step as a quarterback. And also, when that offensive coordinator, need to find a guy who's able to help Doug Peterson create a game plan that's going to work week in and week out. You can't shy away from the running game. Doug Peterson, in my opinion, needs that Marty Mornhinweg. That doesn't mean we've hired Marty Mornhinweg, but back when Marty Mornhinweg was our offensive coordinator in those late 2000 years, he was always the guy, in Andy's ear, like, yo, we gotta run the ball. I feel sometimes Doug is the guy who likes to, do a little pass heavy. He's Andy's disciple. He wants to get that pass game going. So definitely in my opinion, that's what we need to find in the next offensive coordinator and the receiving coach. Obviously, I would love to actually hire a former NFL wide receiver who's actually been there, done that, and who can go through the motions with the receivers and can give them that insight. Like enough of these football nerds who happen to learn the receiving mechanics or we had a former player in Greg Lewis, but come on, like Greg Lewis, really? Like, what's Marvin Harrison doing these days? What's Reggie Wayne doing right around there? What's Andre Johnson doing? Like, find those former wide receivers in the league who want an opportunity to coach. I think that's where the Eagles really need to go because they need to do something. They need to find the next receiving guru. I don't know where you find him, but the fact that this franchise in general has rarely ever had a star wide receiver. That's baffling in my mind, but that's definitely what I would like to see. Now, as far as the offensive coordinator goes, now the rumors are, right now I've heard Jim Caldwell. You guys know he was former head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. We took him to a Super Bowl. He then went on to be the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. Took on the Detroit Lions job. He was there for about 3 years. Until he got fired in 2017. In this past year, he was an assistant head coach down in Miami with the Dolphins, and he was the quarterbacks coach as well. So he's got a little pedigree. Then there's Kevin O'Connell, who was the Redskins offensive coordinator, former San Diego State quarterback. I know that because I played with him in NCAA football. So that would be cool to see. But the Redskins offense, honestly, despite the disarray that goes down there, has not been as terrible as you may think over the past couple of years. So, with some talent here, can Kevin O'Connell get something? I'm not gonna hate that hiring, to be honest with you. And then Jay Gruden, that's really who I want. I've heard that as well. I don't think that's going to happen. That's more of a long shot, but I think Jay Gruden as an offensive mind is great, and it'd be great to have him here. Him and Doug Peterson. Putting a game plan together would be pretty damn dangerous as well. So when it comes to the next offensive coordinator, guys, I really would like to see if we can find a guy who has been there and done that. Who's built an offense before, can implement his influences, his philosophies into our offense, and help the development of Carson Wentz. That has to be the number one thing you're looking for in the next offensive coordinator, is continuing the development of Carson Wentz, because Carson Wentz is still not at where he needs to be. He needs to limit the fumbles, of course. He needs to gain more of a pocket presence as well, knowing when to step up, knowing when to shift around in the pocket, scramble outside, try to buy some time or go for it. Run it yourself. So he really needs someone to help him with that development. And it would be nice if someone can have emphasis in the running game. Now next you're looking at next year. You got Miles Sanders who will be have another year under his belt. Hopefully bring Boston Scott. I would assume that we're going to sign or bring back a running back. It was Jordan Howard going back. I'll talk more about that in a roster breakdown for the Eagles all season. But guys, that's really all I have today. You know, it's been a wild week so far since the season ended. The Eagles finding a way to stay busy, and it'll be crazy to see what Howie Roseman does. We haven't even mentioned that we might lose Jim Schwartz. Jim Schwartz right now is a leading candidate, as they say, for the Cleveland Browns. So you now are looking to revamp the whole coaching staff, and Doug Peterson is going into his fourth season as an NFL head coach, and he already now has to probably look for a whole new coaching staff. But guys, that's all I got for you. Again, Eagles fire both offensive coordinator Mike Groh and wide receivers coach Carson Walch. But guys, in the comments below, let's talk about this. What are your thoughts on the firing of both these coaches, and what do you guys want to see as replacements for these two coaches? But guys, thank you so much for tuning in and watching this episode, watching this here. It really means a lot to me, guys. I'm just a young Colombian American who just wants to be known in the Philadelphia sports landscape, wants his opinions heard. And you guys, you can help me out. You can help me out by liking this video, subscribing to this channel, hitting that bell button for notifications, as well as sharing this video and this channel to help me grow. And guys, if you want to follow me on other platforms of social media, you absolutely can do that. You can follow me on Twitter at Parceo Philly, and you can also follow me on Instagram at L_Parceo_Philly. And until next time, gente, I'm Ed Parceo Philly, telling you guys, fly Eagles fly. I'll talk to you soon.